Morning miners, Pakratt here again. You probably don't recognize where I am because I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere as far as the town goes. Um, Honestly, I don't even know whose place this is right now. Right now, I'm just going around to people's places and delivering gifts. Just flying around doing that. Yes, I did say flying around. I have been making much use of B-Dub's Left Behind jetpack. Um, you guys probably know that he left it behind when the B team went to the end and got mauled. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. Now it's not because I've changed my ways on that thought. The thing is that I really don't think that. Well, there's a few reasons why I haven't taken a jetpack so far. The main reason is that it's kind of too easy to get the original one. Um, and it still is. The thing is that it's been so the upgrade. There is no like upgraded version either outside of like a graviton chest, which is just ridiculous. I would have liked to have gotten somewhere in between, but beggars can't be choosers. And I'll probably, if B Dubs really needs this one back, of course I'll give it back to him and I'll make a new one because these are just way too easy to make. Yeah, I'm getting really low. But that's not the reason why. The other reason why I didn't like them is also because they die so quick. And I just don't want to get dependent on something. Oh, here we go, Lag City. Yep, we're right next to my base, so it's going to start to get laggy. I'm sorry about that. The reason why I didn't use it for the other reason is because if it died in the middle of nowhere, then I'd be in trouble. And I don't want to get dependent on it if it's not reliable. So, but that's changed. Now, nothing on the server. Man, look at this lag. Look at this. This is what I've been going through all the time when I'm on the server. This is my loading. Ready? There we go. Hello, chunk loaded. And there we go, chunk loaded. It's ridiculous. This is what I've been. This is the life of Pakratt, you know. But what are you going to do when you got a base that causes you so much lag? Yeah, hello sheep through the floor. But yeah, so a little bit has changed, but not a lot as far as that goes. I'll show you what I mean in a little while, but it has to do with the gift that I was giving people. But I wanted to update you guys on what I have been up to outside of that first, because that's like today development. First of all, I have restarted the quarries. Well, quarry, but I keep moving it, so it's essentially quarries because maximum sized and constantly updated type of deal, and it's moving wicked fast. So it essentially goes through the whole thing in about 8 to 10 hours, which is pretty good for a 62 by 62 area. Now, like I said in the last one, I have completely automated the actual production of the ores into ingots, as you can see over here. Yep, there we go. There we go with a few right now. That does process in that little station below, and it does keep up just fine. I only have 2 furnaces, essentially. Well, 2, not furnaces. You know what I'm talking about. This thing right here. The induction smelter, yeah. Got 2 of those set up, and that's it. That's all that I'm using for all of the ingots, and it's keeping up pretty dang well. Because the quarry, since there's only one of them doing the entire area, it's not like 20 turtles. It does a pretty decent job of keeping up with the ores that it gets in. So there is that. I did stop cobble production from going through here because that was kind of jamming it up a little bit. But when you take out that cobble, look at this. This is how fast you have to go. That's it. That's pretty good. I like that, so I had to take it out. And honestly, I got 3 upgraded chests of cobble. I'm good. I mean, I could take it and put it in a recycler, but then I'd have to bring it back here to put it in the recycler. So I've kind of avoided that. The other things that you might notice just by me being up here is I did upgrade the... let me just take off the sign so you guys can see a little bit better. I did upgrade the wiring for the red power stuff. The thing is, it's still not that great. The reason I had to do this because with red power, the more wires you have along the same line, the faster it transfers energy. And you need to really do that just to get something going. Now you can switch to a high voltage wire, but I just didn't want to get into that. I could, and I still might at some point, just so I can get it working better. But I needed to do this period just so I could get that engine over there running, because that thing just sucks up the juice ridiculously fast. But as you can see, not much up here has changed. Not much on the second floor has changed either. As you can tell, if I can get around the lag. Yeah, that didn't even move me. In fact, I don't think anything on this floor has changed. Nope. Oh, I did put pumpkins there. But I put pumpkins. I put pumpkins there for a very good reason. I'll show you that in a minute. I did add this. We do have an energy tesseract going. It's my only tesseracts going at the moment. I do have 8 more that I haven't attuned yet, so they're not even set up to be items or liquid yet or energy. This is the only one that I have set up, and that is going directly to the quarry, and it is kicking. It's been keeping up at full speed without any hesitation at all. Now you notice I didn't have the engines running either. Well, that's because I've been busy. As you can see, I did install a reed farm, and this is what the pumpkins were for. It took a while to grow this many. I actually took the second level, the one right below this one, and before I actually turned it into the reeds, I just made it a pumpkin farm, period. And I just made pumpkins like crazy. This entire top is pumpkins. While the jetpack still lasts, as you can see back there, yeah, and there it goes. The reeds are tall back that way. Oh man, hold on. Let me just get a piece of cobble here. Okay, there we go. So I can see. There we go. Loving the lag still. I'm at 5 frames per second right now, and it's not getting better. But what are you gonna do? As you can see, the ones back there are still long. That's because I made it extra large, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, it didn't take any longer to really set up the super size versus this, and the edges actually are easier to do when you actually go a little bit bigger, because it doesn't end up being even. You would have to cut it off at some point. When you go bigger, it just makes it so that it works all the way through. 2, if I ever wanted to make this bigger, well, it's already started in 2 directions. So yeah, there's that. Doesn't mean I'm doing it right now, but I might, because it's been going pretty well, and I don't mind adding more to it. Okay, come on, lag, come on. All right, I'm gonna try. Let me just try something here. I'm gonna try to put this in movie camera thing and see. Oh wow, is that slow? I wanted to make it so that I could show you guys this without it being all jumpy and stuff, but well, it's not jumpy anymore. I just can't. Well, it's still jumpy, but I also can't move. Well, we'll try this for a minute and see how well this works. Okay, no, that's not happening. As you can see, I've been busy with where the reeds are actually going, but yeah. Let's start with what this actually is. This is something that's designed to not just make biomass. This is not just like the farm that we have way back there for the entire place. This one is definitely like an upgraded version of that. The one over there, all it does is it basically is made to process plant balls. That's basically what it is. The reeds are turned into plant balls before they go into the fermenters. In this one, we are taking sugar canes purely, the pure sugar canes, which it makes it so that you get more out of it. The reason I didn't do that over there is because I thought that when you process it like that, you will get more out of it if you per cycle if you put in a more potent thing per cycle. Evidently not, because it actually just slows down the cycle when you put something stronger in there, which is kind of annoying. But what are you going to do? Basically, what I think the plant balls are, basically they're just a way to throw everything into one barrel later on. But that's what it's been going with. So let's just go through this from the beginning to end. Okay, slow down a bit. Let's just hit shift here a little bit so it doesn't make it so you guys get overly seasick. Can I even get through here? I think I can. Okay, so let's start with the sugar cane. Of course, the sugar cane is coming from up. Where is it? All right, up here. Now, you guys have all seen these farms and stuff like this working before, but I'm telling you right now, this one is pretty good and it's pretty compact, so you guys might actually like this. You could tell I'm not using, what is it? Pipes here. I'm using tubes. I'm using tubes because, obviously, tubes are better for actually sorting stuff initially. So, yeah, and that's it. I believe that's just hitting a relay up there, and the relay is sending it down here, and then it sends it where it needs to go. And whichever distance is shorter is the one it's going to go to. You guys know that part. And then it goes straight into these two fermenters. The two fermenters will then go do their thing using the Buildcraft pipe that's connected. Where is the Buildcraft pipe connected? I think it's connected from the front. Yeah. Buildcraft pipe, or not Buildcraft, conduit pipe, yeah. The conduit is going in between the two, powering them both, and basically that makes it go at maximum speed. I think they take 20 MJs a tick when they're running, and that's good. That means that they do not slow down, and this goes into 6 stills. And I needed to do 6 stills because I tried 3, and they were not keeping up. I mean, they were barely keeping up, but I was planning on optimizing it, so I had to upgrade it a little bit. Now, this is the easy part. This is the part that anybody can figure out from the get-go. You just take reeds, you pop them in a fermenter, and watch it go. Obviously, getting an aqueous accumulator with the liquid duct, go in and give it water. This is all the easy part. Now for where we get to the part where we have to make it fully automated. First of all, the compost. Now, you obviously can go with either the compost or the mulch. Jenny actually went with a mulch approach. I did the mulch last season. Well, if you want to call it a season, the last map. I was not happy with that because that is complex and annoying. So I skipped that. We went with the compost, and the compost is coming from right here. We have an auto crafting table behind this pipe here that is basically just taking the stuff from this one right here, the wheat, and this right here, a pulverizer. The pulverizer is actually pulverizing from over here. Or is pulverizing the plant balls that it gets from over here. The plant balls go directly into this chest, and they come from here. All the seeds left over from the wheat farm that's below me go into this chest here. That whenever it gets to a number of 8 or greater, it'll then feed them through the system, and it'll be sent through the Buildcraft pipe by way of the autocratic gate, and everything's all hunky-dory. So yeah, even though I said I used the tubes up here from Red Power, the pipes are really good for doing the very detailed stuff. Like I wanted to, if I wanted to keep pumping and stuff like that, then I need to use that. Otherwise, I'd have to use a filter, and I don't even think I could use a filter. No, I couldn't, because the Buildcraft auto crafting table doesn't like to use the filters and stuff like that because it just pops everything out instead of the actual thing that's being created. So you have to go with Buildcraft pipe, or don't use it essentially. But yeah, anyway, the way that it gets the other wheat and the seed up here is down. Oh yeah, the power, I should say, is all coming from that conduit over there, and it's all this stuff right here that this covers. This is basically the wire. It's going straight down this way, and it goes over to the pulverizer here, and it goes straight out that way over here to go up to the cane farm up there. And I'm getting it to slow down. See, the thing is with the forestry farms, they like to suck up power as much as they possibly can. If I took this conduit and I fed it directly into that cane farm up there, it would be sucking up about 20 MJs a tick, guaranteed. Every single tick, no matter what. It doesn't need 20 MJs a tick. You can hear that thing going right now. That's not running off of 20. That's running off of 5. And the only way you can really take a redstone conduit and, slow it down, the only way to really filter it is by using red energy cells. So I got energy cells going here, and I got one going... man, sorry again for the jumpiness. I'm trying to slow down. And I got one going here. This goes downstairs to the wheat farm. The wheat farm in itself was a pain in the rear for me. You could tell... see, look how far down I just dropped. I didn't want it this far down. I wanted it to be at like that level right there. And that's it. Right? Yeah, no, couldn't do that. See, whenever you set this thing up, it then starts digging out the area around it. Like, entirely. And it goes up to like 9 blocks high. I don't know why it digs up to 9 blocks high. It doesn't monitor 9 blocks high. Because if I took dirt and I filled in this level here and that level there, it would not plant seeds there. Now, it would harvest there, but it wouldn't plant seeds there. I don't remember which one does what. I think it's it's this one that does the seeds right here. And this is the one that does the digging though. That's the stupid thing. The farm is the one that digs out the area, but it doesn't monitor it. The combine, which is over there, I can't right click on it because there's no inventory. That is the one that actually does the harvesting. So I don't understand what the forestry is doing with that, but you get the general gist of it. But that's not the most frustrating part. The frustrating part is that when I was building this, I kept coming along and I'd be seeing this all over the place. I'd be randomly coming down and noticing there was another bit missing, except it wasn't like a bit, it was like a corner. And it took me a while to figure out why. I thought that the update to get people to stop using these farms, like, changed things and made it so it would, by the way, see, it already replanted that. I thought it changed things so it was more difficult to work with for that. I was wrong. This is a slime chunk. Remember my slime farm that's all the way down in the bottom? This is directly over it, essentially. Let's see if I can show it on the map here. Yeah, this chunk right here. This is a slime area. So they like to spawn here and drive me mad. Yeah, but here's the thing that's getting me. I came down here today, and there was another one. There's not a spawnable area for them here. And it wasn't like a little one. It was a full-size 3x3 slime. There's no place for the little bugger to spawn. You can't win. I completely retiled this whole thing. This is all covers. It covered up the whole thing. I just liked using snow because it was a nice-looking block that I had available. But, yeah, I mean, it's annoying. Okay, but yeah. Anyways, you can see I got a relay that's popping the stuff out of here and feeding it in. It feeds straight this way for any of the seed because, like I said, it takes the shortest possible route. And obviously, that's the shortest possible route for the seed. The other thing that this chest is, this is where the sand comes out. Every time it has to replace one of those blocks, it replaces it with a piece of dirt, but when it takes it out, it becomes sand. I don't know why it becomes sand, because when I hop on it, it doesn't turn into sand, but whatever. It likes to make sand out of dirt. I still don't get that one either, but that's okay. But yeah, okay, so the wheat and the seeds come up here, and the seeds go... Stupid lag. Okay. The seeds go into this filter right here, because it's the shortest possible route. So do the sand, evidently. I don't even know why I did that. Oh. Okay. I guess I planned on adding that to the automation, and I never did. Well, whatever. Okay, so the seeds can go in here. They get fed into that system that I showed you a minute ago. But that's not all, folks. You see, there's something called overflow. See, you need to plan for the fact that eventually this sucker's going to fill up. And when it does, you're going to have stuff spilling all over the place. I don't care what kind of pipe you're using. It's either going to start spilling all over the place or it's just going to get backed the crud up. And I had to plan for that, and I did. Most people would just take everything and send it into a void pipe or send it into a recycling. I decided against that. See, I wanted to absolutely maximize the amount of fuel that I'll be getting into this system. So what I did is I went ahead and I added another pipe coming straight off of this one. You can see it's a restricted tube right here that goes up and in the ceiling a little bit. I had to work my way through all those pumpkins to make sure that I didn't hit anything either. And any cactus that, or not cactus, reeds that don't get into the fermenters over there, they're going to come straight this way first. And they're going to hit this thing. And if that fills up, then they're going to come here, where the extra wheat and the extra sugar cane go. And they go into this chest that I can't open. That's because this thing's on top of it, obviously. But you don't need to see in there because they do. You have auto crafting tables for the wheat and auto crafting tables for the sugarcane right behind it. And they both use a nice little build craft pipe set up down here to both feed into that exact same chest right here. Now, you notice that this chest is actually going in two directions. I'm sure you guys did notice that. It is going under this snow block right here. By the way, this is facade. I was wondering if Buildcraft facade was any good. I thought that it would be a really cool thing, and let's just say that it's limited. I was trying to divide stuff up with the facade, and it doesn't do it. It doesn't do a dang thing. It actually just sends a pipe straight through it, which makes the pipe look nice and pretty in a nice circular fashion, but that doesn't help me at all to keep them separated. But I digress. Okay, so anyways, what this is doing, this autocratic gate is waiting for the inventory to be full. This one is actually waiting for a signal. I should probably explain that one. This one is actually waiting for a signal from a gate under this one. That's basically listening for if this is empty. If this is empty, it sends a signal down to this one, and when it does, it pulls out a couple. It doesn't pull out a ton, it just pulls out a couple and sends it into the pulverizer over there. It doesn't need to have a ton. But the pulverizer just provides the dirt that is seen by this auto crafting table, and the auto crafting table feeds into these. These read the same way that the other one does, except instead of reading for it to be full, it reads if the fuel is low, and the fuel is, of course, the compost. And then it sends a signal over to the auto crafting table and feeds some into it. Anyway, okay, so that's how that works. I kind of skipped over to that part. Let me just mention one more thing for the people who have no idea why this works. Auto crafting tables will listen to any will look next to them for any inventory that has the items that they need in them. So even though I don't have wheat in here, I have wheat right here. And even though I don't have extra dirt in there, I have extra dirt right here. So it actually will see this dirt, even though this is not a chest, it's not a barrel, it doesn't matter, it doesn't care. It's going to look at these two, and it's going to use those for its production. Anyways, okay, so where the pipe is going. The pipe is actually going this way. This is the liquid aqueous accumulator, by the way. It's just, this is all water under here. But the pipe feeds the extra plant balls over here, over to this singularity compressor right here. And this, which I've got left on by putting a redstone signal under it using just a simple lever, is being fed by this biogenerator, which is fed directly from the main line using a liquid duct every single time that the stills turn on. Every single time that the stills turn on, whenever you're ready. Really? There's 6 of them. And when I'm waiting for them to turn on, just so I can show you, there we go. Okay. Anytime they turn on, it does fill up the biogenerator behind this. And whenever that produces something, it then kicks the compressed plant balls into here. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because even though you get more energy out of plain material, like you get more out of the wheat, the plain wheat, you can get more out of the plain sugar cane, you can get more out of all that, except for the seeds. The only way you can get them in there is by turning them into plant balls. But even though you do get more out of them, for actual storage, I'd rather just have this. This is like a backup plan. Whenever this thing gets to the point, if this thing ever starts to empty, what I want to do is I want to set up a second tank that monitors, just like we have over in that far one, the main line. And if that starts to empty, I want it to start pumping a little bit of this stuff over to the fermenter. And then use that to help keep this thing in line. That's my plan with that, at least. And I think it's a pretty good one. So that'll work. Anyways, so that's how we got this set up. Now, what is it all doing? I did intentionally kind of skip over that, just like I intentionally skipped over what I was giving people in all those chests. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a frame lag down here, and we can take a look at the nice little boiler setup I got going on. Now these are just like you normally would expect, the full-size boilers. They are 3x4 all the way to the top, and they are all fully heated up, and they all are producing at max. And they all are connected to these 18 different engines on both sides. The combination of these 18 engines from these produce a grand total of 144 MJs per tick into my line. And there's two of them. This is 18. This is 18. So I am producing 288 MJs a tick off of sugarcane. Yeah, I know. Jenny's been doing it for a while too. His is, I'm going to just say it right now, his is not quite as efficient because he's not turning his all into stuff. But I'm also looking at the fact that this thing's still filling up. It's not filling up super fast, but it is definitely filling up. And I'm still producing plant balls into compressed plant balls that I could feed back into the system if I wanted to. In addition to that, I could always add a second farm. This is just one reed farm. One reed farm and one wheat farm. That is it. But if I added another one, and I don't even know if I need to add another one. I'm planning on going ahead and adding a third one. I'm telling you that right now. I am going to add a third steam engine to this, or steam boiler. And then we're going to be at, what is it, 200 and... I believe that'd be 226. No, 232 MJ a tick, I think. Don't quote me on the math. And that's pretty good. You got to remember, this is still not anywhere near as the same as EU. This is not a solar panel, because the ultimate solar panels, they already put out 512 EU per tick, but EU is not MJs. In fact, MJs are much more difficult to get than EU. Even converting from EU into MJs is a massive loss. The best way I've seen to get Mindcraft joules from Industrial Craft EU is to use an electrical engine. It's the most efficient possible way of doing it. But you need to use iron or the iron chips to do that. And every time you use one of the iron chips, it reduces the reduces the EU requirement, but it doesn't increase the output. And what it ends up being is a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's a slow ratio. You get like 2 EU or 2 MJs per engine, and you need to upgrade them pretty dang heavily just to do that. This, on the other hand, can convert from MJs into EU at a easily a 1-to-1 ratio just by using the lava conversion that everyone knows about from Etho and everybody else. Or I could always go with a 1.5 to 1 ratio using a thermal generator. Or I could use and this is a new one. You guys might not know about this, but the force field system, there's actually a way of converting MJs directly into the force field units, and then converting the force field units directly into EU. You need to use Forcium to actually do that, but it's adding an extra bit of fuel, but nobody ever uses this stuff. I mean, I'm planning on actually doing some of the force field stuff eventually myself, but as of right now, I got a bit. Each one of these blocks will get you, I believe, 10 Forcium, and that'll last you a pretty good amount of time. So, and by doing that, I think it's a 2-to-1 ratio conversion rate from MJs to EU by doing that. And that is easily the best conversion that you're going to find. You can't go the other way, by the way. I don't think you could, well, actually, I'm not even sure. I don't think you could convert the force field stuff into MJs because it's basically running off of the Industrial Craft system. They just kind of added in the fact that you can use MJs for the heck of it just to make it so that people could not have to use the solar panels and stuff like that. So, but it doesn't account for the fact that MJs are more difficult to get, and that's a shame. I wish that there was some better conversions, but there is some conversions, and that's good. So that means that my 288 MJs can actually be converted into about 350 EU per tick, and I didn't have to go through all the process of making a solar panel to do it, and that's fine with me because I'm not a fan of all that UU matter and stuff like that. I might have to start setting that up at some point just so I can get some interesting stuff, but whatever. Okay, so at any rate, let's go ahead and show you what I was actually doing earlier. I actually set up well, let's go ahead and show you. This right here is a remote charging station. What it actually does, and it should do it in a second because I think it was on the end of its tick. It takes anything that you put in this upper left-hand corner, and every 30 seconds, well, every 32 seconds actually, it will take that item out. Come on, be good. And it will transfer it with whatever was in the system. Right now, that's ender pouches because I'm just using this to store them because I gotta store them somewhere. But after about 30, and where it's going is it's going into an MFSU. And the MFSU, it's of course getting its charge, and after 32 seconds, it's going to go ahead and yank the thing back out again, and yank this one out, and basically just change it out. Let's see how long I've been talking. Come on. And there we go. Standing still, I just recharged my jetpack. Well, actually, standing still, I just recharged B00's backpack, but who's counting? So, let's go ahead and show you guys what I just did. Okay, so let's see if we can go through this step by step as I finally reach the conclusion that I came up with. I want to do the step by step process because you guys know a lot of this little stuff does get to on my nerves sometimes, and I like to, show what was getting on my nerves because that's the way things get fixed. So let's see if we can go through the process that my head went through while I was trying to get this thing set up right. First of all, the reason I even started with this project is because I saw something. I actually was messing around with some pipes for something rather, and I wanted us to set it up next to an MFSU or next to some form of things where you could charge something. And I happened to notice these. Notice what they're saying. They're saying charging empty item or charging partially full item. Basically, they're monitoring to see if there's an item in here that is charged. That's cool. That means it will know when something in there is charged or not. So I'm like, oh, well, there you go. I've been mulling over this for a few weeks now, and I hadn't come up with a really good solution yet. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, I guess I can start working on that. So I went over to Neb's little power station there, and I set one up directly next to his Charge-O-Mat. And you guys know how that thing works. You just plop stuff in there, and it charges the bloody thing. It's nice and easy. So I figured, well, I would just set up one of these right outside, right next to it, and just have it go to an ender chest and be good to go. It would be ugly, and he'd probably just give me a setup downstairs to accommodate him, but it would work. So I set this up, and I went to, and I started looking through the things, and I tried clicking on until I got to it. Yeah. There's nothing there. So that didn't work because evidently the Buildcraft stuff doesn't work with the GregTech stuff. As far as this thing is concerned, that's a chest. That's it. So that doesn't help at all. So I was like, okay, scrap that idea. But now the idea's in my head, so I'm going to start looking around and see if I can figure some stuff out. And that moved on to me looking online and seeing what other people were doing. And it also helps spark my interest because a few of these have come up recently on Reddit and stuff like that. And one of the things I keep seeing as a theme is people using managers. And I can understand that. It makes a lot of sense. What a manager does is it will monitor to see what's in the system and what's in here. and it'll take out what shouldn't be, basically. And it will request stuff from other managers that, you know, you guys have seen me messing with managers before. You guys know how these things work. But what I didn't know is whether or not it could actually read the damage values, or what I thought was that, at least. So what I did is I actually tested this with I think I tested it in my place with like 2 sets of boots. Obviously, this is my creative world, so I have quantum junk to make moving around a little easier. But you get the idea. And I had 2 different damages, and it didn't pay any attention to the damage item at all. It was just boots or boots. So I was like, okay, that idea's out. And after that, it took me a few days before I would go back and try it again. And lo and behold, this is not damage. It looks like the damage bar, but it's not the damage bar. It's actually its own separate thing, I guess. So if I put this in the manager and I tell it, okay, monitor ultimate lap packs that are full, and I go in here and I put one that's not full, it does in fact see it, and it will take it out, it will plug it in here, and it will start filling it up. So that does actually function. But now here's where we get to the first issue. If this is going to work, that means that anything that I want to put in, by the way, this is a mock ender chest, anything that I want to be able to put in the ender chest, the manager needs to recognize it at its full state. So, how many slots does a manager have? Let's count the ways. I see 4 rows of 6. So, that would be 24 slots. How many items are there in the game that you charge? Let's go ahead and let's see if we could take a look at just the industrial craft items. Let's see, tools. I think we're talking electric. So we got chainsaw, electric tree tap, electric wrench, electric hoe. There's an electric hoe? Whatever. Diamond drill, mining laser, the scanner thingamajigger. There's dozens and dozens of different items. And that's just talking tools. And on top of tools, there's armor. There's the nano, the quantum suit, and all this other junk. All this stuff gets charged, and then you have weapons like the nano saber and the vajrajajada thingy that Nevs carries around like it's his baby. All these things have to be in here. That's the first thing. The second thing is, notice I actually put an item in here, right? This is an actual item that I'm putting in. So anytime that I want this to monitor something, I need to have a copy of it. I'm not making a Vajra and putting it in here just so Nebs can charge a stupid thing, okay? I'm not going to start making quantum suit armor and popping it in here just so they can possibly, maybe, kind of, sort of, maybe want to use it, all right? No, that's like, so, okay, we've already reached our first blockade type deal. This is now going to be used just for, like, basic items. I've been using the ultimate lag pack because it's easy to just, like, discharge it real quick to use it for examples. So, that's what we're just going to be using right now. But it could be a mining drill, it could be an advanced mining drill, whatever. So I started setting this up, and you see I got this. This was one of my original setups. It just goes in here, and then it goes to the buildcraft pipe. The buildcraft pipe pops it out when it's fully charged, and pops it into here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to set this up, and we're going to tell it, pop out anything that's not fully charged, pop in something that is, or that isn't, and it goes in here and starts charging it up. Everything's all hunky-dory. So we just wait till it charges all the way up to the top, and now it should be popping it out into the, yeah, see, this was my next issue. This right here, take a look at that picture right there. What's it showing right there? Battery. Evidently, when it says charging fully charged item, or partially charged item, or empty item, or whatever, it's not talking about, like, items. It's talking about batteries. Batteries are the only things that those stupid buildcraft pipes actually understand. So now we've hit another major roadblock. See, I can't actually just plug items into here and have it go in there and have it charge and have it be able to read it. Not, at least not in an easy way. So, and the entire idea of this is to be able to just tell it to automatically take something out when it's done, pop it in there, and have it be able to read the stupid thing so we can just keep it automatic. That doesn't work. So, now we're at a loss again. Now, I had to start thinking about this for a minute, and when you actually look at it, the rechargeable batteries actually do function pretty well. They are actually quite helpful. This isn't even going to work right now. Where did it just go? Did you just eat it? Because I told it... What's it saying right now? Charging fully charged. Yeah, there it goes. Don't take it. Don't... There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't actually... What we could do is we could just go in, though, and we could tell it, just monitor full batteries. And that should function, right? So now we just take a bunch of empty ones, we pop it in here, and now it should be able to just take those out and pop them over here, and they'll start going in here one at a time. When that fully charges up, it's going to come out of the system, and it's going to come and pop it over here, right? Now, there is advantages to this. The actual function of the rechargeable battery is more than just something where you can only plug it into stuff like this and have it recharge. It's actually functional. If you take a recharge, and I've read this multiple times, so I do know that this works. If you take a rechargeable battery and you put it in your inventory, just like so, and you go ahead and you hold right-click, come on, yeah, and you hold right-click, it actually charges items in your inventory. If you look right here, I just charged up this diamond drill. You see it's at 88 right now. Now it's fully charged. That does actually work, and it's a function. Why did you just spit that back in? You idiot thing. Oh, whatever. It might be still doing non-charge. Oh, I know why. I didn't tell it to keep more than one. Okay, there we go. These things are just idiots, I swear. But anyway, where was I? Oh, so it is actually a functional system if you can set that up. So all you'd have to do is, instead of having it pop items in there, you just have it keep track of batteries. Yeah, no, can't do that. Here's why. Okay, so batteries do function for charging items like this. So we could just go ahead and take this advanced diamond drill, and we can go ahead and start holding right-click, and holding right-click, and I'm still holding right-click. I am holding right-click for all that it's worth. Nah, not a stupid thing. You know why? These things don't work on advanced items. They work only on lower-end items. See, I picked the diamond drill because I know it's not the advanced diamond drill. It will work on lower-end tools, not higher-end tools. And that does make some sense, because when you make these tools, it is known that they only work in stuff like an MFSU or something higher than like a bat box, okay? I understand that. But shouldn't you be able to like plug a battery into them at some point? Okay, so that might not work, but what about the lithium batteries? They should work, right? Let's go ahead and just pop one of these in here so I have one charged one to play with. It's going to take it a minute. And it does actually monitor these types of batteries too, if I remember correctly. And you can actually take this thing, let it charge all the way up. Come on, when you're ready. I'm tempted to go try and put it in one of those charging station things and see if it'll charge it up faster there, but... when you're done. Okay, but yeah, we could just go ahead and we could charge it. You know what, we're just going to work with this. Okay, we're going to say this thing does keep track of those. And that would work. It's an advanced battery, so it should work for advanced items. So let's go ahead and get our advanced tool. We're going to put it back in our inventory, and we're going to go ahead and pick this, and we're going to hold right-click. Right? Hold and right-click. Not a dang thing. See, even though the lithium battery is a rechargeable battery, it's basically an upgrade to the regular rechargeable battery. Guess what it doesn't do? It doesn't actually recharge items. Yeah. It's an upgrade that doesn't do the function of the downgrade. it's pointless. This is basically just an energy transfer device. Only thing it's good for is like popping in an MFSU or something like that and have it charge it manually, which is worthless. Okay, so now we're at the point where batteries are pretty much out. I could go for days trying to figure out how to get batteries to function, and I could probably maybe set up something where somehow a battery is able to charge something. I was actually thinking what you could do. You know what? I didn't even check these things, so that didn't even work at all anyway. So yeah, good luck on that one. We're just going to go ahead and we're just going to chuck that onto the ground because they're worthless. Okay, and actually I think I just chucked that into the side inventory, so that's just gone. Lovely. Anyway, so that doesn't work, but I was actually thinking maybe you could just take an MFSU, pop it in the system with an electric wrench, and have it so if somebody really needs to charge something, they could just take those out, pop it on the ground, take a bunch of rechargeable batteries, pop them in there, and have it slowly charge it up, and then you can charge. Okay, that's just a pain in the rear. No, I didn't do that. I was thinking about it, never even bothered trying it because that's just a pain in the rear. I mean, what if somebody actually accidentally uses the electric wrench wrong? Then suddenly we have a machine block in the system. Yippee freaking skippy. Yeah, we don't need that. So that is basically all bust. All right, so we can't actually use this Buildcraft wooden pipe to actually pull out anything. Because if we try to tell it to just pull out, there's no way to tell it, pull it out when it's charged. All right, so where's our next option? The next option I was thinking was a newer item. This is actually from one of the previous updates, and I hadn't played with them much yet, but they definitely exist. This is a emerald pipe. Now, an emerald pipe can actually monitor for items like this, and it also uses ghost items. Unlike the manager, it uses ghost items to keep track of stuff. So it is entirely possible to keep track of stuff without having to upgrade or to put one of everything in the stupid system. All you have to do is tell people, just pop something in there, and it will keep track of it for you, right? And I was doing this when I started going along, and the first thing that I noticed is when I went like this, and I wanted to add another item. Okay, so where do I click to add another item to this emerald? Yeah, you can't. Okay, the only way to actually see the GUI to this emerald pipe is to pop the stupid thing off and put it all back on again, making it completely worthless to actually be able to use the stupid thing, unless you go ahead and skip all this and go with redstone engines, which I did. I surrounded this thing with emerald pipes, redstone engines, and made it look all old school and junk, and set it up, and now we can actually put items in here, and it will monitor them. Yeah, can't click with a pipe, of course, and it will monitor them, and it will pop them out, or so you would think it would pop them out. Because even with all this setup, even though this should work, whenever an item goes into this here, what is this, the Charge-O-Mat thing, it's randomly taking it back out again. It entirely might just decide to ignore it totally, which is not helpful at all. So now, and even then, it would still be a limited number of items because you can only get 4 pipes around the stupid thing. So that's what, 9, 18, 27, 36 different items you could possibly keep track of. And you'd still have to connect it up to something over here to monitor the ender chest. So you'd still be working with the limited inventory of the manager, and you'd be having a limited inventory over here. And I did get this set up to work somewhat well, or at least I thought it would. And it would work great if it would actually pull the items out. But all the time, I would be popping stuff in here and having it go over here and just not leave. Now it is now, but not because I did it right. I actually set up a filter, okay? The filter I have here will pull the stuff out. It's on a really slow timer right now because I was going to try and show you that this thing doesn't pull it out. But evidently it just hit at that perfect time and, you know, worked. So I was like, okay, instead of using this thing, we'll just go ahead and we'll use the filters all the way around the stupid thing. You're still going to have 9 inventory slots and 9 filters and all this stuff, and it would pop it out, and you'd have but it would still be the limited inventory. You'd still have all this limited stuff, and it would kind of sort of possibly really not really function all that great, right? So, and then I was looking at the system, and I was like, you know what? There's a better way of doing this. Just looking at the filters, looking at this setup right here, this kind of told me how to actually do this so that it's functional. And I'm going to go ahead and leave here now and show you what I actually did on the server. So I'll be right back with you. Now, I know that was a whole lot of convoluted stuff to tell you guys all the stuff that I did to get to this point, but I'm going to tell you right now the system that I actually came up with. Anybody can do this on their server, and they can do it on the server like probably day one. As soon as you can get an MFSU, you can do this, and that's good. The only thing is that it's not most efficient time-wise. Because I was unable to figure out an easier way of doing this in a way that's completely automated. Come on, load. Thank you. I couldn't set it up so that it's going to pull the items out instantaneously. You saw how I did this. When I put an item in there, it takes its time before it actually pulls it out. So there is no manager involved in this, unfortunately. I wish I could have figured that out, and honestly, I probably could still do that, but this is so much easier. This is what it ended up being. I'm going to take it off the ender chest, even though I know that this ender pouch is this ender chest. I make it a habit of trying to keep it away from any ender chest because it's too easy to accidentally set these things. But anyway, here's how this one works. And I cannot believe how long it took me to figure this one out. It's so ridiculously simple. Like I said, 30-second tick. And actually, I'm just good. That was brilliant. Shot myself. Awesome. All right. Let's just go ahead and do this. Every 30 seconds, we could go ahead and put this. Now it's 30 seconds. That's better. Every 30 seconds, it sends out a signal. When it sends out the signal, I guess my frame didn't catch it. Lovely frame rate. By the way, you could tell just being away from my base, it's already gone up a little bit. I'm actually in about 11 frames a second, which is twice as much as I get in my place. And all it does is it sends a signal to this transposer. The transposer goes to this filter. The filter goes directly into the MFSU. That's easy. After the 30 seconds are up, it then pulls the item out of here, goes back up here, and goes back up into the ender chest. The only thing that's anywhere near as complex about this, and I don't even know this is needed, I did add a repeater to make it so that it pulls the item out of the chest after it pulls the item out of the MFSU. I basically just wanted to slow this down just a little bit so there wasn't like a clog in the system. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. And honestly, you probably don't even need to do this. You could probably get the same effect just by having the hopper here. I'm pretty sure that this is actually slowing it down an extra tick anyways, so you probably don't even need to do this much. You could probably just tear all this out and do a line here, straight up to here. And being red-powered wire, you can actually put the wire against this stuff. So, just like this. So it's even easier than I have it currently set up. I just wanted to be safe with it, basically. The server lags almost as much as I do sometimes, so you never know what's going to happen. The one thing that I'm missing right now, and I am planning on upgrading this, is even though this does work well, the MFSU is not that fast. The reason I have it set up for 30 seconds is because it takes about 20 seconds just to charge a jetpack, and that's not like it's the only thing that you're ever going to be putting into it. What I'm planning on doing is upgrading this to a charge-o-mat. They're just a massive pain to make. Like I said many times, I am not a fan of the industrial craft stuff in this mod, and I'm especially not a fan of Greg Tech stuff because they are just so complex and ridiculous to try to make anything in. But for the server, I'll make a charge-o-mat. That, and I'll be using it too because this is awesome. This also means, by the way, that now I could go ahead and make a drill and not worry about running out of energy. I don't have to have to choose between a jetpack and a batpack. I don't have to choose between the two. I can actually use the jetpack, and I'm walking towards my base. You know what? We're going to walk away from my base right now. I wonder why. Yeah, see, the frame rate's already going up. Okay, so I don't have to choose between a jetpack and a backpack. I can get a jetpack, and I can have a fully charged set of tools, which is awesome. And that means that I can now start making all those tools that I've been waiting to make simply because I didn't have the ability to charge them before. Now I can charge them on the go. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go. I got other stuff to do right now. I'm actually going to be heading out in a minute. And when I get home, I'm going to go ahead and, well, first I'm going to drop one of these off at Etho's house and Anders, even though I don't even know if Etho's going to use it. He likes to do things the hard way. I am not entirely sure why sometimes, but oh, don't you love the loading? Oh, enjoy the beautiful night sky that looks retarded right now. But with that, when I get back, I'm going to drop a few more off, and then I'm going to the end before everyone figures out that now you can fly around with your jetpack and get as much ore as you need. Because as soon as they figure that out, it's all going to be gone. So, with that, you guys have a good one.